Noah Price, my boyfriend, for his family's annual Christmas Eve smorgasbord. The Price family annual smorgasbord is a big deal in our personal history. It was how we got together in the first place. Before the smorgasbord, Noah Price was just a star in my sky. Constant, familiar, bright, and far above me. I'd known Noah since the 4th grade, but it felt like I knew him in the same way that I know people on television. I knew the name. I watched the show. Sure, Noah was a bit closer than that, but somehow when it's real, when it's your life, that person can feel even farther off and more unobtainable than an actual celebrity. Proximity doesn't breed familiarity. I had always liked him, but it never really occurred to me to like him. I never thought that was a reasonable thing to want. He was a year older than me, a foot taller, broad of shoulder, bright of eye, and floppy of hair. Noah was the whole package. Athlete, academic, school government bigwig. The kind of person you think must only date models or spies or people who have laboratories named after them. So, when Noah invited me to come along to El Smorgasbord on Christmas Eve last year, I more or less ruptured an eye in my excitement and confusion. I couldn't walk straight for 3 days when I got the invitation. It was so bad that I actually had to consciously practice walking in my room before I went to his house. I had no idea if he had asked me because he liked me, or if his mom made him. Our parents know each other. Or because he lost a bet. All my friends were just as excited, but they seemed to understand it more than I did. They assured me that he had been eyeing me in mathletes, laughing at my attempts at trigonometry jokes, bringing me up in conversation. It was all so crazy. As weird as finding out that someone had written a book about my life or something. When I got there, I spent most of the night safely propped up in a corner talking to his sister who, though I love her, is not exactly deep. There is only so much you can say about your favorite brands of hoodies before you feel the conversational walls closing in. But she can go like a champion. Elise has some thoughts on the subject. I finally took a break just as Noah's mom was setting out another plate, and I could make the, "Oh, excuse me, but doesn't that look good?" excuse. I had no idea what was on it, but it turned out to be pickled fish. I was backing away, but his mom said, "You have to try a piece." Being a bit of a lemming, I did. But this time, it worked out, because that's when I noticed that Noah was watching me. He said, "I'm so glad you took some." I asked him why, because I really think I suspected it was all a bet. "Okay, I'll ask her to come, but you guys have to give me $20 if I can make her eat pickled fish." And he said, "Because I've been eating it." I was still standing there with what I assume was a very enchanting expression of total stupidity etched on my face. So he added, "And I couldn't kiss you unless you'd had some too." Which is both gross and breathtakingly romantic. He could always have just gone upstairs and brushed his teeth, but he stayed and lurked by the fish for me. We snuck off to the garage where we made out under the shelf of power tools. That was the start of it all. So, the particular Christmas Eve I'm about to tell you about wasn't just any Christmas Eve. This was our 1-year anniversary. It was almost impossible to believe it had been a year. It had all gone by so fast. See, Noah is always really busy. When he emerged into the world tiny and wriggling and pink, he probably had to get footprinted and out of the hospital as quickly as possible to get to a meeting. As a senior, a member of the soccer team, and president of the student council, his time had been whittled away to almost nothing. I think in the year that we had been dating, we had had about a dozen proper dates with just Noah and me going somewhere by ourselves. About once a month. We'd had plenty of joint appearances. Noah and Jubilee.